This is the FREESKY 2000W electric bike, also called the Swift Horse Pro, and just looking at it sitting here, it definitely gives off a rugged, almost adventure-ready vibe. The big blue-gray aluminum frame stands out right away. It's chunky, it feels solid when you tap it, but it doesn't look overcomplicated like a lot of these monster e-bikes do. That's something I noticed and appreciated from the moment I pulled it out of the box. The impression you get is, yeah, this can take a beating on trails, but it also won't look out of place if you just want to cruise around your neighborhood. Unboxing and setting it up was easier than I expected. Instructions were pretty clear, and most of the parts are already assembled, so I didn't spend hours trying to figure out what goes where. I had some doubts because of the size. The shipping box is huge, and the bike is definitely on the heavier side, about 92 pounds. But as soon as I got everything together, that weight actually became kind of comforting. It just feels sturdy, like it's not going to fall apart if you ride over rocks, potholes, or uneven ground. Let's talk about key features. The heart of this bike is the 1000W BAFANG motor. When you crank up the pedal assist or use the throttle, you can feel that power immediately. On paper, it peaks at 2000 watts, which basically means there's a surge of extra juice when you need to climb hills or accelerate quickly. In my experience, the torque is impressive. I weigh about 175 pounds, and even on gravel or dirt, the bike just pulls without hesitation. FREESKY advertises a max climbing angle of 40 degrees, and while I haven't found any hills that steep nearby, it handled everything I threw at it really well, never feeling sluggish or underpowered. If you're used to traditional bikes or even lower-end e-bikes, that instant surge might be a surprise. For anyone wondering what torque means, it's basically the strength of the motor when you start moving, especially useful when you're starting from a dead stop or tackling steep surfaces. This bike uses a 48-volt 30Ah Samsung cells battery, which is hidden nicely inside the frame. One look at the specs, a claimed 120 miles of range in pedal assist mode, made me curious, because that sounded like a lot. I've done a few rides mixing throttle only and pedal assist, and I can usually get several days worth of commuting and trail riding before the battery drops below half. If you go full throttle all the time, expect less range. But if you're like me and mix up your settings depending on where you're riding, you won't have to worry too much about getting stranded with a dead battery. Charging it up takes about 5 to 6 hours with the included fast charger, which isn't bad for such a huge battery. One thing I noticed quickly is the comfort on this bike. That's a big deal because with bikes this heavy, they can feel tough to control, especially for new riders. The full suspension system, meaning both the front and rear wheels can move up and down independently, really smooths out the ride. Even on bumpy back roads and small trails, you don't feel rattled to pieces. It makes longer rides way more enjoyable than I expected. The seating position is upright, which is great for visibility and comfort, though I did have to adjust the seat a bit to get it dialed in. For me, at 5'10", the fit was pretty much perfect, but if you're shorter than 5'6" or taller than about 6'4", it might be a stretch to get comfortable. For tires, you get 26-inch wheels with 4-inch fat tires. These are what make this bike so versatile. Off-road, sand, gravel, even snow, these tires just keep going. They also give you lots of grip on pavement, so it never felt sketchy taking corners at higher speeds. And speaking of speed, FREESKY says you can hit 35 miles per hour with pedal assist. I managed about 32 going slightly downhill, so that number isn't an exaggeration. There's no speed limiter, so if you're riding on regular bike paths, be careful. This goes much faster than most standard e-bikes. The braking system is hydraulic with 4 pistons per caliper, which is more like what you'd find on a motorcycle than a normal bike. In my opinion, having that stopping power is essential with something this fast and heavy. I was able to stop quickly and safely on loose gravel and asphalt both, and never felt like I was out of control. Now, a standout feature here is the smart display and NFC key system. There's a colorful screen that you can see even in bright sunlight, showing your speed, battery, and other info. To turn on the bike, you swipe a key card or enter a password. No clunky key or ignition. This is the first time I've used an e-bike with that feature, and I ended up liking it way more than I thought I would. It just feels slick and secure, and you can even charge your phone from a USB under the display. When I first looked at the Swift Horse Pro, I wondered if it was more bike than I needed. Is a 2000-watt peak motor necessary for most riders? From my experience, it's honestly awesome if you plan on going off-road, riding trails, or you just want to make sure hills aren't a problem. It's perfect for anyone who wants to use it on weekends for adventure or for getting around in neighborhoods with lots of hills. On the flip side, if you just want to ride to work on smooth city streets or bike paths, it might actually be a bit overkill, especially since the weight and speed can be intimidating at first. Also, check your local laws, since the power is above what's allowed for e-bikes in some areas. A few quirks stood out to me. The kickstand feels a bit wobbly for a bike this size. I'd love to see something sturdier from the company in future models. And while assembly out of the box was easy, the overall weight means I'd rather not have to carry this upstairs or lift it onto a rack single-handedly. If you need service or repairs, you may have to do some work yourself, unless you've got a local shop that does e-bike repairs. If you're curious about maintenance, it's mostly basic stuff. Wipe it down, check the brakes and tire pressure, keep the battery charged. The battery is removable so you can take it inside to charge, which is convenient. In conclusion, my quick review of the FREESKY 2000W electric bike is pretty straightforward. It's a fully loaded, high-powered e-bike that delivers comfort, range, and serious fun, especially off-road or in hilly neighborhoods. For those who want power, long battery life, and a bike that truly does well on rough terrain, I'd recommend this for you. It's probably not the best pick for someone looking for a light city commuter or for carrying upstairs every day, but for adventure, trail rides, or even keeping up with city traffic, it definitely shines. If you've got questions about this bike or want to share your own experience, drop a comment below. I read them all. Don't forget to subscribe for more honest reviews. Thank you for watching.